to consider.
We've had some talks about it, and it's gonna be, it's going to be fun issue. Have an engineer look at it and see what kind of weight it can sustain.
Would it be a separate bridge or would it be that on?
I don't know if the engineers think that those posts could handle the additional weight. I think it possibly could be just off the side, but aluminum pipe. Doesn't have to be anything that large, but the frame of the bridge can handle it. But I think it would take some engineering work to see if that's feasible. Aluminum is expensive, but aluminum would be the lightest, and if you limit it to bicycles and like no horses or anything like that, I think it's very polarized. Definitely takes some engineering. That would be the cheaper. That would be the cheap. I've seen in Canada has bridges everywhere, and it's large span solar, but they're just crossing areas. And I've seen this that like a aluminum cake on the side of a bridge that went right away, just off the side of the bridge.
And they're covered?
Not for the weather. Not for the weather. But like I said, I think it did some engineering fees to look at it. Full separate bridge would be rather expensive. But tying it to the rail trail, as the rail trail gets more access and more growth, it's something that would really be nice to have down.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Joe.
Oh, then I'll come back to the board. I did make a change order on this bridge. The bridge had galvanized and it was bid, they bid for galvanized fasteners. I upgraded it to stainless steel fasteners, because a lot of galvanized fasteners failed, it broke off, so it's gonna be a bit more money, $3,000 or $4,000 for the stainless hardware, but that is what I went with, but I will come back. Be able to take that bridge CIP. I just didn't, was spending a lot of money and I didn't want to have the galvanized fasteners be the weak spot. All the current bridges have galvanized on them. Crew has been using stainless when they break, but it's they're better, so that's what we want. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Alice Romanek, Carpenter Home Lease Extension. Things that honeybee out.
They're going. That's where you I don't think say it, but this is I need this one. My printer stopped. This is just kind of like our proposal for it. You want to no they cabinets. I can read little parts of it. So the board of directors and they're meeting with Michael and Adam. Decided we'd like to ask for a 20-year lease of the Carpenter home. To act as we've been in 1-year leases, so we'd like to jump into a 20-year lease with a review every 5 years only for the rent, just to give us a little more opportunity with some larger grants so that we can have.
We obviously haven't had an opportunity to read this, but instead of a 20-year, would you consider a 5-year with 3 5-year options?
The only reason we were considering a 20-year was because of the opportunities for grant funding to for both the town and us to help the building. That's our end goal is the building needs a lot of work. You guys have been subsidizing this whole time, and we're almost at that point. According to our rent schedule, we'll be at the $3,000 a month starting in January, and that's what we're proposing to hit that mark. And so I looked into the Northern Borders grant. I'm looking to community
Block Finance Authority.
the CDFA is the beginning of the community block grant. So just some larger options, just because, I mean, as you guys know, if the building needs a new roof on part of it, and it's old, it's an old building with the old building complex. And we have some things we would love to do to make it so our classrooms can flow a little better, so we can hit, a little more capacity, so we can increase our quality. So when I looked into these grants, I can apply for them. I can apply for Northern Borders as a nonprofit. But they want to see that I'm either purchasing or I have at least a 20-year lease. Then the community block grants would be, they recommend you start with a planning grant anyway, which is what we were suggesting. It's a $25,000 planning grant that the town would apply for, and the CDFA, then it leads into a community block grant, which can be up to $500,000 with a match. We have to find those matches, which we are willing to do the legwork for that. But the 25,000 would be a feasibility study, it could be an energy audit, it could include all of that, just to see if a project is viable to do in that building, and, but yeah, and that comes down to a 20-year also, at least a 20-year or purchasing. A lot of what we're running into is that they want us to be purchasing a property versus renting, to do any, renovation related money. And I had Timken offer up to $100,000, but told me I couldn't use it for anything in the rented building. I could purchase things, but not renovate the building. So yeah, that was where the 20 years came from. It was just because that's the cutoff for most of these larger grants. Yeah, so that's what we're proposing, is that it would help us with the deteriorating roof, so it would help us with the yard drainage. There's been a lot of animal damage to the basement windows and the foundation. We've been catching skunks quite often. Angel's been catching skunks quite often. The heating system needs some love. There's a couple rooms throughout the building that, like, the heat randomly will work or doesn't work. We need to fix up some of the outdoor lighting. There's a version that's one of them. And there's just things, and we want to be there. We love it up there. The kids love it. We've been talking with the Conservation Commission about working on the nature trails out back. We kind of launched a work day the other day. We had parents come and help us put in fence, and they came and cleaned up the garden, and someone put up a railing on the back porch. And cleaned out some of the woods, and the kids and their families just love being there. And we want to stay there. So that is what we're going. Maybe back in kind of.
Yeah, financially, Alice kind of mentioned, but we're getting to the point where the rent is basically gonna cover all the usage costs, which is great. But she's also saying, hey, this is a 100+ year old building, it's tired, it needs some improvements. Is the town gonna pay for that? Is she gonna pay for that? So that's why we're looking at the longer term lease, as gives us options of maybe neither of us, maybe we can get a big grant that will help do a lot of improvements. So that's a real driver for it, and obviously gives her a little more stability. We all know we need these 1-year deals, because once you started, you're already starting to talk about the next one.
Yeah.
So I think longer, in some ways, is definitely better. And that's where we came to the, what's the shortest term that'll be long enough? It seemed like this is where we came to, so.
And there would still be the options for either of us to back up. There's in the lease currently, there's a 90-day pause. There's great. They say, hey, no, we're done. But I don't want to.
As of right now, have we put the town put any money into that building since she's been there? Have we done anything?
Yeah, Mike's done a lot of work up there, but it's not been not been at roof level. It's like taking out a wall here or there, fixing the floor.
So are you saying that we're already doing everything here that she's asking? We're doing the general maintenance? Are we looking at fixing the heat? Do we do that now?
I haven't followed up with Mike yet. There was a guy, I called the guy, service guy. I don't know if he ever came back with the part for, we don't need heat in that room right now. But he did call the guy.
So what I'm trying to find out is,
Yeah, they did.
since you've been there, has the town been doing these things that you got here, the heating?
Yeah, that's an original piece, all of that.
Yeah, so this isn't being added on, this is to continue it.
But we're in mainly break fix mode. If
Yes.
it breaks and it becomes an emergency, then we fix it. I think she's looking to try to get ahead of some of that stuff partly
Yes.
and just do some more things to make it work for her users.
Yeah, yeah, anytime we call the.
So these grants that you have, they really wanna see 20 year, 10 would help, or something
No.
like that? It has to be at least 20 years.
At least 20 years. The community block grant, they definitely told me that they wanted to see. That, I believe it was that the building had to be used for childcare for 20 years. I'm not 100% positive that for me necessarily, but, that was. The. It just, it was that it had to be 20 years. And then northern borders was definitely. They originally told me 10, one of the guys thought it was 10, and then I double checked.
If you walked away with the 20 year lease, how confident do you feel that you would get these grants? I mean, you're pretty confident.
Yeah.
So you
Childcare
fear
is a
that
buzzword.
the only thing that might be holding you back is not having just lease, there's no other big issues that came up that to get these grants?
No.
I think one of the ways to look at it too, things is they can guarantee she won't get it.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, if you're looking for a guarantee, the guarantee she won't get it.
Yeah.
Without it. I mean, that's, you know, I mean, it's the optimism trade, and that's what's most amazing thing about us is your eternal well of optimism. But without any kind of a guarantee, it has no chance of anything.
Right.
That's a given.
I was trying to get a gist of what the chance of getting this grant.
I mean,
I mean,
You know, if this was a shot and, you know, we're gonna make a large commitment here, so I'm just wondering what our chances to make this commitment, you know?
They are federal level grants, they are harder to use. Teaming up with a municipality makes it easier. I have the opportunity to potentially go to the county, also I haven't met her yet, potentially schedule. So with some of these bigger grants, municipalities have a higher option, or they are the only option for applying for it. Yeah, then I would work on the matching part. That's where, like, I wanted to go to Timken, I could potentially push them, they said that they wanted to only see if I was purchasing. But I could, you know, if I could show them that we're, they might give me the $100,000 to match. CNS is known for giving big amounts. Medic said that they would help fund it if we needed to, the match, if we needed to come up with that, so. I mean, that's what I'm asking is to start at least with the planning grants, which is we would apply for in January if we did this, right? Roughly. It's a rolling admissions, January to June.
I believe that some of the pre-application.
Yeah. So that would, you know, determine if it's even a viable project to do anything bigger.
So in your, every 5-year review, what do you anticipate would be reviewed in 5 years?
Mostly just like expenses for you guys, for us, just, kind of thing. It could be like whether you leave it or not. But my thought was just to go over, because I mean, costs are going to change, like they change all the time. Who knows what the economy is gonna be like, so I figured we could do a check-in, who knows, maybe we do an energy audit and this grant works out and we streamline heating, I don't know, and it lowers your guys' costs, and then maybe we can say, okay, so this money, the extra money, not asking for the production necessarily, but the extra money could be put into a fund to continue maintaining the building. If there's, who knows, but it's a check-in,
If you're asking for a 20-year lease, you really need to understand from our perspective that that's a pretty significant commitment for us to make. Particularly when in a lease like this, it would be common for what's referred to as a triple net lease, which essentially means you cover all costs.
yeah,
And in this case, we're being asked to cover fuel, electricity, and whatever other utilities are needed. You're projecting from January of 25 through May of 44 that the rental rate would be $3,000 a month, which I couldn't look myself in the mirror,
Right.
never mind someone else and justify it. So
yeah,
I would just like to see some more information provided on how that would be, how this would come together. I'd also like to see the language that specifies, and that Michael can provide this, that it has to be a 20-year lease. It can't be 5 with multiple 5-year options, and your option, that type of thing, so that we have a full understanding of it. I think I agree with Jim. This is not pushback from the standpoint that we don't like what you're doing, and we don't think you're doing a great job. It's just trying to be able to justify signing a 20-year lease when there's a number of variables that are in play. And ideally, I think we should identify up front what expenses are anticipated by the landlord, us, the town, and by you, so that it's not, well, we're gonna apply for this grant, and you're gonna apply for that grant, and you get it, so you do the roof, we get it, we'll do the roof. I think we just gotta iron it out a little bit.
I know with, at least with like the community block grants, if the town was applying on your ends, it would be for your building, basically. Like, it wouldn't be necessarily for me, but again, and it's free money, but it's free money. It's grant money. But yeah.
Could also there be some kind of stipulation that, you know, in the first 5 years of grants, she doesn't press on the grants and nothing happens, that's a way that we take this from the 20-year lease, so we don't see any actions on the grant. Or is there a way in the language to do something like that? Is that possible? Yeah. But I agree with Billy too. I think there's a lot of open ends here that we're not sure, like you said, the responsibility of us, the responsibility of hers, you could be a little more clear about it. And definitely that many years, the price there, I agree.
I just go based off of our past.
Yeah.
That was what I was thinking, was the cost and everything based on our past agreements.
Well, it's helpful to know that you've been working with Adam and the Mikes, so that they're all in the loop together with you. Because this will come together. It's a lot to ask of you as an individual and the board, because so much of this was experimental.
Yes.
And you know, we took a flyer on you, you took a flyer on the town, and it's great to see that it's working.
It's working. We have, I put it in here, we have 48 kids currently. And the only reason we haven't hit the 60 was because like some of the rooms is just too much to. Yeah, they say you can put 20 kids in there, but you put 20 kids in there, you're like, whoa. So, without some wall adjustments potentially, we can't really hit our full capacity, but. I mean, we have 34 Swanzey families currently out of those 48. I had to keep it as many Swanzey families as we can. Because the school changing and everything in the next few years, okay, we're doing a good thing dealing with this vicinity. So we just need to.
One of the comments you made was that maybe in 5 years you wouldn't want to do it, but maybe the model's not working.
Yeah.
So with any of the grants or any of the forgivable loans, are they tied? Are they going to be tied to that building being utilized for childcare? So, and then if they are, and you walk away, who's on the hook?
Yeah. I don't know. I would probably. I don't want to. The whole like.
No, I know.
But
Half
the reason we need- yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I would have to find out more. I would assume it would probably fall back on whoever applied for the grant.
Well, the other piece where it's now a registered nonprofit is the entity is designed to not to be up to Alice's
Yeah.
whims, so, so it's.
That's what
You guys win the lottery and retire tomorrow and Honeybee Hollow, or whatever they put that, with the official name.
I mean, all of
Children's Center would continue, so it's.
that was part
That
of
gives security too. It's not up to just, she decides she doesn't want to be a childcare anymore, it closes up. Ideally with the board, it's designed to have more
Keep going.
stability. But that is a good question.
Yeah.
If, it goes out of business next year, are we then gonna have to pay back the $1 million stepping into the building? It's a good question.
Yeah. But yeah, the main push for becoming a nonprofit was to get us funding and more grant things, and I've been able to get like little ones here and there, but nothing substantial enough to help us with the bill.
And you say little ones, so how little?
I mean, they're also to the state, so they're leftover COVID money, and we did get Rotary, the Elm City Rotary, we got a little grant, it's $1,600 to do, or no, 1100 for purchasing backpacks and like stuff. So I haven't gone for too many because the things that we need are bigger at this point, so. I am working on the Opportunities to Succeed grants currently. We completed a business optimization, that's what they call it, course through the state, that was through Child Care Accelerate. And that was an 8-week course, we did that, and we're qualified for 25,000. I'm actually going to be using some of it for replacing the ramp, because we had a volunteer day that took out the ramp because it was just repetitive. And all the boards were lifting up, so we're going to utilize some of that money to replace the ramp. To replace the washers and dryers. Yeah, those things. Yeah,
Keep going at it.
I keep going at it, and this is just what I do. Crazy.
I just didn't give much questions answered.
Yeah.
I needed some time, but that's,
Do some more fleshing out, we just want to get an initial.
yeah, maybe we can put some questions together that we'd like to.
Any questions? I was trying.
Appreciate what you do. Good job.
Okay.
And Tom's lucky to have you. To be proud.
Well, thanks.
We'll
I am.
only try to work with you.
You can take credit for help.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Code enforcement
Thank
officer
you.
Mike Jasmine, Range Hall Conference.
We'll have another opportunity.
All right, so you guys, got the memos, the bid results, 3 bids, there's really only one. Bid. You came close to fitting the budget, a little higher than I hoped, but still within the budget, not a problem. I normally with farm buildings, I prefer and go for metal roof whenever I can. And this one, I'm gonna backtrack on that a little bit, and I'm gonna pull the $8,000 or $9,000 upgrade, whatever it was, out of the bid for metal, because it's still a little wonky. And the next thing I would want to do with any major consequence again would be going back to the foundation, which is what I want to do before. And I don't want to do that with a metal roof, because I may damage the metal roof where the shingles are a lot more likely to flex. And the reality of it is, by the time we get into that, where they get the money and the rest, I think there's a fair chance that the roof would probably be needing to be redone anyway, in which time I need to yes, from that perspective, that kind of history. So I put 15% on contingency versus the normal 10 because everything else has gone up. So I figured I cut my contingency as well. And that brought us to the not to exceed price of $100 change. And
Can the structure hold the weight of the snow load if it's not metal?
yeah, I believe so. The engineer that goes was good with it, and we're gonna have all nice new and that. Yeah, it should be fun. Should be fun. It's got a point, and it should be fun. Yeah, I feel good about that. We're gonna find out in the next couple of weeks. I'll rip some plaster off that thing before we even open the roof up. We're gonna rip plaster off the first quarter, so that make sure the top plates and the studs are in the condition I think they're in. Because if they're not, we're gonna have to have a different discussion. But I'm not gonna get the roof off and then find out then. So I'm gonna make sure it's in decent shape before we take the roof off. Best as we can.
It'll be a trust roof.
The trust roof. With I'm gonna call it an attic style only because I wanted to design the trusses and leave as much open in the middle as possible. Only to make, if anyone has to go there for any reason, just to make their lives better and safer. That's it. Worth going. I've done enough of them that no one cared about me, so I couldn't possibly do that to somebody else. And it's gonna be, they're gonna be able to start work sometime in August. So if it's the schedule, it shouldn't take a whole lot of time anyway. Where we go,
What are they figuring for time?
they didn't really, they didn't tell me, they're not gonna finish till they start. They were the company that did do the door work originally, and they just finished, the old county courthouse. They were the primary contractor on the county courthouse project. You know, Mike Petrovic, who we worked with and know reasonably well, spoke highly of them. I know the owner personally, and I find him to be an incredibly upright, moral, and ethical, straightforward human being. So I'm feeling pretty good that if we have an issue, we'll be able to work it out. That's an issue.
What's up there now, Mike, on the roof right now?
It's up there now.
Yeah, what material? Is it shingles?
It's shingles, it's, rough pine boards, and also on 2x6 rafters, 1x struts.
Yeah.
Ish. Some of them are physically broken.
So you're gonna strip all that off, even the pine board?
The pine board, the rafters, everything, there will be nothing up there,
Nothing.
open to the sky.
But there's-
Same thing we did on town hall. The difference is town hall, we did all in one shot. This will probably be more third, a third, and a third. To help keep the building from displaying. And originally I wanted to hang on to the gable ends. And once we go to contract and talk about it, I'm gonna try to make that pitch again. Because of the way it's designed, but if they feel it's gonna be better and easier for them and end up with the same structure to not save the gable ends, then we won't save it. But because it's being framed and the rest of it, I'm just not great with that detail of cutting it and then having an hinge and that just not doing great. I'll look that up.
Hope we don't run into what I.
We will,
Although we solve the problem.
it will,
We don't have it.
it will, and you still have.
No one does.
Yes, yes. You got the new nicest house in town.
But no, but seriously,
I know,
that happened.
but seriously, that's why I'm gonna cut first and all the rest of that before we're gonna have a really good idea of what we're getting into before we get into it. That's the end.
What do you want to add to their price for contingency?
I added 15%, so it went from,
105.
yeah, it went from, and I did that by way of markup versus.
I don't think we added it.
Yeah, 89, it was $89,711.89. With 15% markup, it goes to 105, about 43.40.
So here it's like 90.
Those were the three bids. This is the money I'm actually asking for. That's right.
And we've got, you thought they wouldn't do the math.
So I think. Yeah, because I mean, the bids were just like wild. And it was even, I was like, you gotta be kidding me, right? So,
I like that lower one, the number 3.
yeah, and my one was almost gonna be upset. Unfortunately. Yeah, I felt bad for the guy, but I mean, I know for him, that was probably just a really good thing.
And really, I'm sorry, it's a question. Carry the snow blower.
Yeah, oh, yeah, but take that exactly into that, and it's just, yeah. Because it's not doing it now. So yeah, I mean, I think that's where we are, I'm feeling, I mean, I know that's where we're hitting that a couple of different times, and, yeah. So,
106.
Hmm?
106.
sure,
Wanna come in?
I wanna come in almost 20 grand under, yeah. And I still think you know, we should. It should be closer to 90, 91, but you don't know how this goes.
So my understanding before I put my decision out there is that you're gonna pull off some more stuff to make sure before we even stop this project.
That's right, so the
You're gonna do a little more research to make sure we don't.
right, so where the ceiling meets the wall and the upstairs now,
Got it.
we're gonna take a foot to a foot and a half of plaster lap off. I'm gonna expose the top plate and the studs and look at their condition. And if they seem to be in fair condition like we expect them to be, yeah, off we go.
Good.
If they're junk, we gotta stop.
Coming back to the
Then we
table.
gotta figure out what we're looking at and probably pull out more and not end up in the spot where we this where we expected, but I wouldn't ever rip that roof off unless we know what we knew. The town hall, we had the luxury of that space wasn't done, we knew what we had, we could see it any day, we could, run reviews, you could see it. Which made solving it a lot easier too. But this building, it was,
I went up there, I saw it, and I know exactly what you're talking
back in the old days, when every building was a different building. If you could still see the wood, it could pour, before the cover. That's what town hall looks that way. Nowadays, of course, they pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to see the wood.
Yeah, that's one of my main concerns is. I never was a big fan of this whole project in the first place, but. I mean, it looks like there's a lot of people out, so I'm not gonna hold anything back, so I'll make a motion. As written. To 106. To 106, so.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Authorize expenditure up to $106,000 for the Grange Hall repairs. Grange Hall Capital Reserve Fund, and authorize the town administrator to sign contract documents with Griffin Construction. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for going.
Hey, Mike, can I just ask you a question right here? What's going on with the fire station? Did the guy ever come yet? Or anything to do with the water?
No,
What is the plan?
I did reach out to, the contractor for the, split units. They want, like, anything to take the head that's in the fire station out, the line set out, so we can patch the hole. Then when we patch the hole, then they can drill a new hole. And when they put the new line set in, what we're gonna have them do is put a drip loop in it. So when you look at a new service entry cable like on, or anything, even the normal one, right? You look at it, and that cable comes off the telephone pole, goes into the house, it's got a loop. The purpose of that loop is to collect rain. The rain and the water get the bottom loop and they drip. So we're gonna do the same thing with that line set, which is create a hook in it so that it'll drip and not follow as much the potential to follow it in. And but working with him, and they reached out to Aho about putting getting the number on gutters, and they're expecting to follow back in December.
And what about the window?
I haven't done anything with the window
Who
yet.
would do that? You'd have someone come in and take that window out and redo it? Because that water came in.
I'll probably do that though. We'll see. We'll see if we get through the whole thing. So,
Yeah, because I went there in the last rainstorm and everything was wet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, yeah, so, yes, still moving, still getting it done.
Great. I just like to be kept in the loop with that, if you don't mind.
Always,
Thank
that's
you.
the way, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we good?
Moving on to new business, fire station committee discussion.
I thought you said you didn't want to talk about names.
Right, you did. Okay. So, what I did, we talked before about putting a committee together that would help us to bring the fire station to fruition. So I provided a list of names to Michael, and he's reviewed them. There's 13 or 14 names on there. And then, what would our next step be? Maybe these guys need to know the names. If you email it to them. Yeah, the list. And then maybe coordinate through you if there's any changes.
Well, I don't think we want a 14-person committee, right?
No, but I didn't view it as a 14-person executive committee. My thought was that we've never had enough people involved. And what Wally used to tell us, when Wally used to come, is you gotta market, you gotta market, you gotta market. So my thought was that with this group of people, 5 or so, an odd number would be the executive committee. And then the balance would be people that would work on marketing or gathering data and then bringing it forward to the executive committee. There's some people that are very good at LinkedIn and Facebook and all of these things, and I'm certainly not one of them. But we want to have people like that would make sure that we're publicizing for the best we can.
Is this what we're talking about for the new fire station, meaning, but you gotta give us ideas and how we can move on with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the big thing to make clear is what are we asking them to look at? Are we asking them to start from ground zero, or are we saying, just, yeah, I just think it's important to make it clear.
I think I'd like to see them bring back some options,
Everything's
like, don't do the new fire station for 5 years. Take our money and we upgrade what we got, or different options, different ideas to attack this. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see is, give us some options, investigate what everybody brought up, the school, and investigate multiple ways that we could choose, right? Then just push the one.
Well, yeah, but in terms of the Cutler School or Wilcox School, we don't know. And they're not coming to us anyway.
That's true.
So, but in terms of what we want Sly are saying, everything should be on the table.
Right.
Right, so there's people that think we need 2 stations, there's people that think we need 3 stations, people that think it should go where it is, there's people that think it should be in Swanzey Center, there should be more.
People that think we don't need it.
Well, there is, and all of that has to be answered, but if we don't need it, then we gotta close. So but that's what I agree with Sly, I think everything is on the table. I would like to see us do a tour of the Westmoreland station, because that's one that did get passed. And it may very well satisfy our needs. We had a location that we discussed and won't bring up public because somebody else owns the property. But I think we would want them to look at that as well. Because it's a property that we thought made sense, the timing just didn't work. But yeah, I think everything,
When would you want to have a report back?
I think that ideally by October.
Well, we keep that together, right? It's in the theater, right?
Well, yeah, and then we'd have to roll out with public hearings and all and be ready for a warrant.
So, in other words, move fast, right?
Yeah, or maybe they get into it far enough and they realize we can't make that deadline, we can't make the 25 warrant, but we could make the 26 one. That doesn't mean the work wasn't affected. Just see how it rolls.
And how does that work though? Like, they would do their own meetings and everything like that, and then they would come to us and sit in front of us and explain to what they.
Well, one of us might be on the committee,
Oh,
just like we are CIPC and EDAC, planning board. Oh, that's a possibility.
so I would love that.
Beautiful, but night.
So I would love that.
You did. Who's on CIPC? What are you doing?
I gotta get those. I love it, Billy. I think that is fantastic that you moved on that like that. It's awesome. It's well needed to figure this out.
We've got people that can work on it.
And you gotta get some other people there. This list that you came up with, how did you do that?
Just
The
by
people that you know, that you're out there, and people are doing that,
no agendas.
and you actually got all these people on board that they don't go.
We've only shared it with a couple.
Uh,
Because I don't want to have you guys say, no, we don't want that person.
oh, so we don't even know if we're gonna get yeses out of the 5 of the 14, right?
We'll be yeses.
We love.
We will. We will. There are people that want to participate.
That's awesome. That's great.
I'm not a boss, but I just don't know how you would proceed. Normally, we would tell us we're creating a committee, let us know if you want to join, and then we wait them when they come in. So it's just a little different approach.
Just to be proactive.
Right, so that's why I don't know, that's why I'm unclear what our next step is.
I think the next step would be for these guys to see the list. Okay. And I can't send it. So
Right,
Posts that we're putting together a committee. And proactively send invites for these people that we identify.
sure. Well, you guys have to agree.
Like, I can't kick anybody off the list, I just say. We're putting together a committee, are you interested? So and then we might get somebody from the outside. You know, can applies on their own that has some really good input. That's not on the list.
Like, why do you, it seems to me like it's not good to have a large committee.
correct. So
It isn't,
it's not.
why is that?
Well, so if you have 14 people, you need 7 or 8 to be there to be a quorum. And every decision, everyone has to go around the room, the Keene City Council, they don't do it, they don't make any decisions after 15 people sitting at the table, they have all subcommittees. And 5 of them, and then they make the recommendations, then the big
You don't want
approves
to
it,
put off that.
which it kind of sounds like is what Bill's suggesting. I find usually larger committees tend to get bogged down where it's smaller groups, 3, 5, maybe 7.
So that's what I was saying, we would select from the group, the executive committee, and then work the others to help us.
They're taking their own minutes. So that right down.
There you go.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, have a
Bill,
good night,
that's the lead.
guys. Have a good night. You going on vacation?
Yeah. Never go to school, it's class. The realtors give an award.
Oh, really? You get one?
I don't get it.
Grab mine.
I will.
Land and Water Conservation Fund grant agreement update with Swanzey AA Memorial Park.
So as
Anything else?
we're approaching closing up the screen,
Right.
I want some updated.
I guess it's a no-brainer to have governor and council approve.
I'll make that motion. That's a red.
All right, motion made and I'll second. To authorize town administrator to sign grant agreement documents related to the and Water Council Fund grant for improvements to West Swansea Bay and the Water Department. All in favor, say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Requested expenditure, town hall postage meter.
So it is approved problematic. Apples to apples, quotes thus far from different companies, so I don't know if we're okay, maybe just re-up in the Pitney Bowes that are at least within budgeted funds, or if you want me to continue to shop around, we want to make sure we're looking at, because the price difference is like 7 times, and there's really the same machines, which they confirm. So it's just,
You want to go another week or so?
so I feel like the problem is, I think the postage meter runs out of. Yeah, it's not a postage, it's like a software update that it can't do, so. You're comfortable letting me move forward, I can report back, I don't think it's not gonna break the budget.
So the motion would be to authorize you.
Well, it would be the signage, it would be the sign. It's every bill. It's set up as purchase, but.
Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I understand it, and I am happy with that.
I'm not happy with it.
I know, but I get
It's
it.
just another thing for you to do.
Yeah,
So what do you do?
so you can make that motion.
Just to sign the new lease with him, or
Oh,
sign.
sign.
Authorize the town administrator. Enter into the lease purchase.
I can leave it there, I think that's where we're gonna go, but you can.
I'll second. All in favor?
Uh,
Aye, the ayes have it. Good luck with that. Thank you. Requested expenditure, fire station free expenses from 2023 edition. 36,625.66. Capital's reserve fire station stuff. Correct.
It's that for ages, and what is that for?
It's for the addition we did last year.
We need to do more regular?
No, it's
all results.
It's account. Bills keep.
Oh, okay.
I thought that the charges of the operating budget last year, but because of the flooding, overage, so. Basically clean up the books for the accountants.
Yeah, I'll make that motion, that's right.
All right, motion made, and I'll second to authorize the expenditure of the 36,625.66 from the fire station's capital reserve fund for 2023 expenses related to the fire station free edition. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. Thank you. Any old business? Administrative update? Correspondence? Public input? More bite of the apple, Mark? What are you doing here?
Just observing,
Okay.
he survived,
No upcoming agenda items, except,
well, we're gonna talk about, they put it in here, Surrey Crossing. That's a lady, put it in here, next meeting, some residents of Surrey Crossing will like to approach the board about, what your speed is.
Okay.
So it's.
And do we have any, public,
Uh,
Joe wanted to do one next week, so.
We'll do that one break, yeah. Yeah. So one
I
break.
guess we have one on, that's,
Hey,
you can shut us down,
Yeah.
and we'll be coming out.
can't go into Dublin, you set up in the regular room. As soon as you turn it